Welcome to our channel. Everyone is trying to become perfect today. A perfect face, a perfect body, perfect English, and a perfect life. And slowly, without even realizing it, people are becoming fake versions of themselves. They smile when they are tired. They speak but feel scared. They try but they feel like they are never enough. The truth is very simple. Nobody is perfect. But the problem is, we do not accept this truth. We fight it. We hide our mistakes. We hide our weaknesses. We hide our real selves. And this is where the pain begins. Because when you try to be perfect, you stop being real. And when you stop being real, you lose yourself. Today, I will tell you a story. It is not a happy story. It is not a fake motivational story. It is a real story about fear and failure. It is a story about a person who tried to be perfect and almost destroyed his life because of it. Because somewhere in this story, you will find yourself. Lesson 1. The boy who hated his imperfections. His name was Daniel. He was 23 years old. He lived in a small rented room in a busy city. His room was simple. A bed, a table, a chair, and one mirror on the wall. Every morning, Daniel woke up at 7 a.m. The first thing he did was look into the mirror, but he did not see himself. He saw problems. My face does not look good. My body is not strong. My English is not fluent. My confidence is low. Every single day, he started his morning by criticizing himself. Then he picked his clothes. He changed shirts again and again, not because he wanted to look good, but because he was afraid that people would judge him. When he went outside, he walked carefully. He spoke carefully. He even laughed carefully. Because inside his mind, there was one voice: don't make a mistake. Daniel was not lazy. He worked hard. He watched videos. He tried to improve his English. He practiced alone. But when it came to real life, he failed. One day at his office, his manager asked him, "Can you explain this report in English?" Daniel knew the answer. He understood everything. He had practiced this before. But when he stood up, his mind froze. Words disappeared. His heart started beating fast. His hands became cold. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. The room was silent. People were looking at him. Not laughing, just waiting. But in Daniel's mind, it felt like everyone was judging him. Finally, his manager said, "It is okay, sit down." That moment broke something inside him. That night, Daniel did not eat dinner. He sat alone in his room, lights off, phone in his hand, but he was not using it. He was thinking, again and again, the same moment. Why did I not speak? Why am I like this? Why can I not be normal? Then slowly, his thoughts became heavier. I am not confident. I am not smart. I am not good enough. And then the most dangerous thought came. Maybe I will never change. That one sentence can destroy a person. Daniel thought his problem was bad English, low confidence, or fear of people. But his real problem was something else. He believed that he had to be perfect before he could speak. He believed, I will speak when my English is perfect. I will try when I feel confident. I will act when I am ready. But life does not work like that. Because the truth is, you do not become perfect and then start. You start and then slowly become better. So every day he waited, waiting to feel ready. Waiting to feel confident, waiting to become perfect. And while he was waiting, his life was passing. And while he was waiting, his life was passing. One night, Daniel stood in front of the mirror again. He looked at himself for a long time. But this time, he did not speak. His eyes were tired. His face was silent. Then suddenly, he hit the mirror. Crack! A small line appeared. The mirror was broken. Daniel stepped back. His heart was beating fast. He looked again. Now his face was not one. It was broken into pieces. And for the first time, he saw something clearly. Not his face, not his flaws, but the truth. This is me, broken, imperfect, scared. And he whispered slowly, I am tired of trying to be perfect. That night, Daniel did not know it yet, but his life was about to change. Chapter 2. The night he could not run from himself. That night, Daniel did not fix the mirror. He did not clean it. He did not hide it. He just sat there, staring at it. The crack was small, but it changed everything. Before, when Daniel looked in the mirror, he saw one clear face, a face he judged, a face he hated. But now, his face was broken into pieces. Each piece showed something different. In one piece, he looked angry. In another, he looked tired. In another, he looked scared. And for the first time in his life, Daniel did not look away. The room was completely silent. No music, no phone, no distractions. Just Daniel and his reflection. Usually, whenever he felt uncomfortable, he would escape. He would open his phone, scroll endlessly, watch videos, anything to not feel his thoughts. But that night, he did not move, because something inside him said, don't run this time. Minutes passed, then 1 hour, then more. And slowly, the thoughts he had been avoiding for years started coming out. Not small thoughts, heavy ones. Why am I always afraid? Why do I care so much about what people think? Why do I feel small in front of others? He did not have answers, only questions. Then suddenly, a memory came into his mind. He was 12 years old, standing in his school classroom, trying to read something in English. He made a mistake, just one small mistake, and some students laughed. Not loudly, but enough. That day, he laughed with them. He acted like it did not matter. But inside, something broke. That was the first time he felt not enough. And from that day, he started becoming careful. Careful with his words, careful with his actions, careful with everything. Because he did not want to feel that pain again. And slowly, being careful became his personality. Daniel realized something that night, something most people never realize. He was not afraid of mistakes. He was afraid of feeling embarrassed, and to avoid that feeling, he built a habit. Don't try unless you are perfect. Sounds safe, right? But it is dangerous. Because when you only act when you feel perfect, you stop acting completely. And that is exactly what happened to Daniel. He did not speak because he was not perfect. He did not try because he was not ready. He did not grow because he was waiting for a version of himself that did not exist. Daniel stood up and slowly walked closer to the mirror. He looked at the crack again, and suddenly a thought came into his mind. The mirror is broken, but I can still see myself. He stayed still. Then another thought came. My English is broken, but I can still speak. His breathing became deeper. Then another thought, stronger this time. My confidence is broken, but I can still try. That moment felt different. Not motivational, not exciting, but real. For the first time, Daniel did not feel like fixing himself. He felt like accepting himself. People think improving yourself is hard, but that is not the hardest thing. The hardest thing is this: looking at yourself honestly, without hating what you see. Daniel tried that. He looked into the broken mirror, and instead of saying, I am not enough, he said something different. Something simple, something honest. I am not perfect, but I am still here. His voice was low, but it was real, and something inside him felt lighter. That night, Daniel did not promise big things. He did not say, from tomorrow I will become confident. From tomorrow I will change my life. No, he made one small decision. He said, Tomorrow I will try once, just once. Not perfectly, not confidently, just honestly. And that decision was more powerful than any big promise. Before sleeping, Daniel looked at the mirror one last time. The crack was still there. The mirror was still broken. But something was different. For the first time, he did not hate what he saw. He just said, "This is me." And slowly, he lay down on his bed. His life was not fixed. His problems were not solved. His fears were still there, but something had started. Not confidence, not success. Something more important. Awareness. Chapter 3. The day he finally faced the world. The next morning, Daniel woke up earlier than usual. Not because he was excited or motivated, but because his mind would not let him sleep. He opened his eyes and lay there in silence for a few seconds. Then his thoughts started again. Today, I will try once. That sentence came back to him. It was the same one he said last night. But this time, it did not feel strong. It felt fragile. His mind immediately started fighting him. What if you fail again? What if people laugh? What if nothing changes? This is how the mind works. The moment you decide to change, your fear becomes louder. Daniel sat up on his bed. His room looked the same. The broken mirror was still on the wall with that crack running through it. He stood up slowly and walked toward it. This time, he did not rush. He stood there longer than usual and looked at himself. Not quickly, not nervously, but carefully. His hair was messy and his eyes looked tired. His face was not perfect. For a moment, the old habit returned. You do not look good. You are still the same. You have not changed. But then he remembered something. Last night, he did not promise to become perfect. He promised to try once. So, instead of criticizing himself, he said something small. Just try. Do not be confident. Do not be perfect. Just try. That one word was enough. Daniel went to get ready. Usually, this part of his day took a long time. He would change clothes again and again, checking every detail in the mirror. He did this because he was afraid of judgment. But today, something was different. He still looked at his clothes, but he did not care too much. He picked a simple shirt, wore it, looked in the mirror once, and stopped. His mind tried to pull him back. Change it. Maybe this does not look good. People will notice. But Daniel took a small breath and said quietly, "It is okay. Not perfect, but okay." When he stepped outside, the world felt the same. People were walking, cars were moving, and voices were everywhere. But inside him, everything felt heavier, because today he had a plan. Not a big plan, just one thing. Try once. As he walked, his mind did not stay quiet. What will you do? When will you try? What if you freeze again? Each step felt like pressure. He reached his office and entered the building. Everything looked normal. People were talking, working, and laughing. Suddenly, he felt small again. The old feeling returned. That uncomfortable tightness in his chest. That quiet voice saying, "You do not belong here." Daniel sat at his desk and turned on his computer. He tried to focus on work, but he could not. His mind was waiting for the moment. And then it came. One of his colleagues walked to his desk. "Daniel, can you explain this part of the report?" he asked. It was a simple question, but for Daniel, this was it. His heart started beating faster. His throat became dry. His hands felt cold. The same feelings. The same fear. Nothing had changed. For a few seconds, he said nothing. His mind started shouting, "Don't do it. You will mess up. Stay safe. Say you don't know." This was the old pattern, the same pattern he followed for years. Avoid, stay silent, protect yourself. But then something else came. Not loud, not strong, just a quiet memory of the broken mirror and his voice from last night. Tomorrow I will try once. That sentence came back. Now he had a choice. In life, there are moments like this. Small from the outside, but huge from the inside. Moments where you either stay the same or take one small step forward. Fear was strong, but his decision was still there. He took a slow breath. His voice came out, not strong, not confident, but real. I think this part shows the data from last month, and it compares it with this week. His sentence was not perfect. His grammar was not perfect. His voice was slightly shaking, but he did not stop. He continued. He explained slowly. He made small mistakes. He paused sometimes, but he did not run. After a few seconds, his colleague nodded. "Yeah, that makes sense," he said. That was it. No laughing, no judgment, no humiliation. Just normal. The feeling he never felt before. Daniel sat there, quiet, but inside him something was happening. Not happiness, not excitement, something deeper. Relief. A small, silent relief. He did not become confident. He did not become perfect. But he proved something to himself. I can do it, even when I am not perfect. Chapter 4. The day he stopped chasing perfection. Days passed, then weeks. Daniel's life did not suddenly become perfect. He did not wake up one day as a confident person. He did not become fluent overnight. He did not remove fear completely. He still made mistakes. Sometimes he spoke wrong. Sometimes he forgot words. Sometimes his voice still shook. But something had changed forever. He stopped running. Before, Daniel used to live like this. Think too much, fear mistakes, stay silent, and regret later. Now he lived differently. He tried even when scared. He spoke even when unsure. He accepted mistakes and moved forward. Not perfectly, but honestly. And slowly, his world started changing. At work, people started noticing him. Not because he became perfect, but because he started participating. He asked questions. He shared ideas. He spoke more. Sometimes his sentences were not perfect, but they were clear. And something important happened. People did not respect him for being perfect. They respected him for being real. One day, his manager called him. "Daniel," he said, "I want you to lead the next presentation." If this had happened before, Daniel would have panicked, avoided it, or made excuses. But now, he just paused. Fear was still there, but this time, it did not control him. He smiled slightly and said, "Okay, I will try. Not I will be perfect, not I am confident, just I will try." That is real confidence. The day of the presentation came. Daniel stood in front of many people, more than before. His heart was beating. His hands were not fully steady, but something inside him was calm, because now he understood something deeply. I do not need to be perfect to stand here. He started speaking. This time he was not trying to impress. He was not trying to avoid mistakes. He was just trying to communicate. And because of that, his words became natural. Not perfect, but powerful. He made a few mistakes, but he did not stop. He corrected himself and continued. And something beautiful happened. People connected with him. Not because he was flawless, but because he was human. That night, Daniel came back home. He stood in front of the same mirror, the broken one, the one that started everything. He looked at his reflection. Still imperfect, still human, still real. But now he saw something else, too. Growth. Not outside, but inside. And for the first time, he smiled without judging himself. Then he said something that came from deep within. I wasted so much time trying to be perfect. He paused, took a breath, then continued. But life started changing only when I accepted that I am not. The truth you must understand, now listen carefully, is that this is not just Daniel's story. This is your story too. You are waiting to speak when your English is perfect, waiting to start when your confidence is high, waiting to act when you feel ready. But that day will never come, because perfection is not real. It is just an idea in your mind, an illusion that keeps you stuck. The real people who grow, the real people who win, the real people who change their lives are not perfect people. They are people who speak with mistakes, try with fear, fail without quitting, and continue without excuses. Let me give you one truth you must never forget. Perfection is not the goal. Progress is. You do not need perfect English to speak. You do not need full confidence to start. You do not need to fix everything before taking action. You just need one thing: the courage to try. So from today, stop waiting. Stop overthinking. Stop hiding. Speak, even if your voice shakes. Try, even if you feel scared. Start, even if you are not ready. Because your life will not change when you become perfect. Your life will change when you stop chasing perfection. And remember this forever. Nobody is perfect, and that is exactly why you still have a chance to become everything. This is your moment. Don't wait anymore.